Comic Book Savant Extra, episode 24. Welcome back to Comic Book Savant Extra. This is the Patreon exclusive podcast from Comic Book Savant. This episode, we're going to do another episode of First Reads. I'm making this a monthly reoccurring, thing at this point. I think this is the third episode that I'm doing. I've been having a lot of fun bringing it to you guys, and just, it helps me as a comic fan and a comic reader, because we always are attracted to number one issues or first initial starting points or new jumping on points to comics. So it helps focus me that, at least I sit down and read one of these books a month, because we're so used to picking up number one issues. And then a lot of times before I go back and start reading the first issue, the first story arc or two are over. So it helps kind of focus me to have something new to read every month between all the other stuff I read for the different stuff I cover on the podcast or on the YouTube channel. So I really enjoy doing these little brief reviews of jumping on point type comics. This episode we're going to be looking at Image and Skybound's Die, Die, Die. This is by Robert Kirkman and his longtime collaborator on The Walking Dead, Scott M. Gimple. Their artwork is being done by Chris Burnham. They just popped this one out. I think this came out in August. There was no mention, no prior solicitation. Like literally a Comic Book Wednesday, the book just dropped out of nowhere, which I thought was really cool. And I appreciate that from Kirkman. He does a lot of different things in the industry to kind of be innovative, and he's the first one really pushing creator owned really hard a few years ago, and people kind of laughed at him and scoffed at him when he did the kind of State of the Union address years ago at San Diego Comic-Con. But since then, he really predicted a lot of the future, and where we shifted a lot of top creators left Marvel and DC and are blossoming and striving over at Image, doing their or other independent imprints, really creating their own great stuff, and it's being optioned for movies and television shows, all over the place. So he's a real innovator. So what Die, Die, Die is, it's just really a fun, the gist of what I got from it, from this very first issue, is that it's totally kind of off the hinges. If you like things like John Wick, or even like Escape from New York, it's like over the top fun action. I'm an 80s kid first and foremost, and I've always loved the kind of 80s, 90s, and even into the 90s action films, the cheesy kind of corny straight to video or even theatrical released action films. And then this series is like really just fun. It's not anything too deep or too serious at this point. But it's just fun. So if you I liken it to like John Wick, but just turned up a little bit, infused with that kind of Robert Kirkman sense of humor. And if you've read any of his books over the years, Walking Dead's kind of heavy, but if you've read it at points, or Invincible, or all the other stuff, Kirkman at this point has put out so many different titles and genres, and even if you read his early work over at Marvel when he first was launching Invincible and The Walking Dead, with stuff like Irredeemable Ant-Man and Marvel Team Up. He has a really unique sense of humor, kind of is similar to my own, so I kind of hone in on that and have a lot of fun with it. Chris Burnham, his artwork is really solid, really good. I enjoyed it, on this first issue. It it kind of feels like he's a cross between Howard Chaykin's artwork, which was very different and really mesmerizing to me as a kid reading, seeing a lot of Chaykin's work all over the place. But it's a little bit more refined in Chaykin's, and at points with the softness in his lines and kind of the renderings of the faces reminds me of kind of like Frank Quietly as well. So he's kind of between a Chaykin and Quietly kind of art style. If you're familiar with those artists, you'll kind of get a gist. Frank Quietly, he did a lot of collabs. He did a lot of artwork for different Grant Morrison projects. One of my favorite ones was like Earth 2. That was a JLA Earth 2 that he did back when Grant Morrison did that epic JLA run. It was a original graphic novel they did. Also, they collaborated in All-Star Superman. So if you kind of know that artwork from All-Star Superman, that art style, and like I said, it's kind of between that and Howard Chaykin. Which, if you don't know who Howard Chaykin is, he's a legendary comic book artist and writer as well. So his style felt like it fell in between. When it was at parts, it seemed like I think he does both the artwork as well as the inking. He's credited as the only artist on it. Chris Burnham. At times, it's inked a little heavy, and with the heavier inking style, that's when it lends me to remind me of Howard Chaykin style. But then when it's inked regularly or with a less heavy inking style, it looks more like it's softer and it has a more Frank Quietly appeal to the artwork. But I thought he did a great job with the action. This is not safe for kids. We got people, I don't know if you've heard about this, so light spoilers. I got folks' noses getting cut clean off their face. So this like I said, this is not safe for work. This is a little bit more edgier adult kind of humor and title to it. But it's all in that kind of spy world as well. It's like a black ops kind of unit that's linked in with linked to the government or like somewhere in government. So I'm one issue in, but it is a bigger kind of story here to it. But again, I just really say more than anything, it resonated just a fun, different tone from the heavier stuff that you're going to be reading everywhere else. So if I had to rate this book, I would give it a 7 out of 10. Nothing extremely mind blowing, but it's like I said, it appeals to that nostalgia side of me of 80s and 90s old school action flicks that is kind of pretty much totally all went away nowadays. It put me back in that mindset, so it's something fun. I don't think this is something that I would rush out to get month in, month out. This is something that I would get discounted in trade when it would come out, or if I saw a sale. Like I waited till, I heard all the hubbub about, the first issue when it dropped, and it was Kirkman, and I'm a big fan of Kirkman, so I pretty much will try most of the stuff that he puts out there. So I just kind of waited. I waited a month. It came out on Comixology discounted, so I think it retails for $3.99. I'm not paying $3.99 for a comic if I can help it. So I waited a month. They reduced it down to $1.99. Then with my Comixology Unlimited discount, I ended up paying like $179 or something for it. So I paid less than $2 for the book. It's worth picking up, but like I said, it's something that I would probably read and trade just as a kind of change of pace, just nostalgic title. It's not something that's going to be at the top of my stack type thing. But if from what I'm saying to you, like that 80s action movie vibe, good visuals, the art, the artwork solid, the writing solid, and just fun. Like I said, I liken it to John Wick. Even like if you get into spy stuff, like the fun kind of James Bondish. Because I would say Jason Bourne, but that's a little bit too grounded. This is a little bit over exaggerated, kind of spoofy in a way. in the lightness, kind of the tone, even though you got people's noses getting cut off, but in graphic, but not gratuitous in any way. Just adult comedic kind of tone to it. So, like I said, that's a good read for me, but it's not a top of the stack or something that I said I would heavily recommend out to you guys or even to myself as a must buy. It's something, again, that I will look to pick up, in trade or on sale, and I would, continue to reading the series like that. But it's not like some of the other books that we've come across in first reads where it's like, yeah, I'm definitely sticking with this series and seeing where things go. It's the kind of meh when I see it and be like, oh, I haven't read it in a while. It's on sale, or first trade's on sale for like $5. I would snatch it up in a heartbeat and read it and have fun with it. Especially as long as this creative team is attached to it. It seems like they really have a good synergy going at this point. I think the second issue just dropped maybe past couple of weeks. I haven't grabbed it yet, but again, I might just wait till the first trade comes out and then just grab the whole first story arc and then check it out then. And I will probably at that point, if I get some feedback from you guys and you want to hear more from it, once the trade comes out, I will, I'll pick it up and do a review on it on the YouTube channel. If you guys are interested to see, where the story goes based on this review. If you want to, hear more, you don't want to take the risk of picking it up, let me know, and I will review it down the road. I'll do at least the first trade review on it if you like. But that's all I have to say about this Die comic. Also, like I said, give me feedback, guys. If it's a new issue or new jumping on point of a book that you're interested in hearing my thoughts on, let me know, and I will pick it up and I will review it in one of the upcoming First Reads episodes. I'm totally open to that because that's what this whole series is all about. As always, thank you guys for your support, for pledging to the Patreon. It's more stuff coming down the road. Like I promised you guys that I'm going to be doing a commentary. I thought I was going to be doing it sooner than later. I'm just waiting on to clear the time in my schedule where I'm home alone and I could be in front of the mic for 2+ hours or hour and some change, depending on what the film is. I think I settled on a film, and I think it's going to be Captain America Winter Soldier for the first commentary. But you guys can let me know. You can always email me at comicbooksavant@gmail.com, or just through the Patreon. You can message me as well on the post for this episode if you like as well. Either or. If you haven't already, I did post pictures, like I told you guys I would, of the T-shirt. I did order the T-shirt through Teesprings. It came out better than what I thought it was going to do. So if you want to pick up one of the T-shirts, that's available too. I don't know if I included the link there, but I will put a link in the posting for this episode. So if you want to head over to the store and look at the designs and see if it's something that you want to pick up, I'll do that as well. But that's all I have for this episode. I will talk to you guys soon. Keep a lookout if you haven't already on YouTube. I got some new content dropping on there this week as well. I'm doing a How to Podcast /YouTube for the next episode of the Comic Book Collector's Guide. So I'm going to be putting that should be dropping this week. So by the time you hear this, that should be out as well for you to, it should be out or coming out in a day or two after you hear this. So be on the lookout for that. I'm going to have some real fun doing that. I've gotten a lot of questions about that stuff. So I'm going to be dropping it's kind of a follow-up to the video I did last week on the YouTube channel where I just did an office tour and kind of showed my setup. It's kind of an expansion on that and the process of starting a podcast and or YouTube channel based on questions that I've gotten recently and throughout the years about, what does it take to get started. But again, that's all I have for you guys for this episode. I will see you soon. You guys take care and have a good week. Talk to you soon.